Round 1 in the NFL playoffs is in the books. We're going to be talking college football. We've got fires in Southern California and the effects it's had on so many people, and maybe a little bit of NBA. That and more next on Good Sports. Thanks for joining us. I'm Randy Goode, and as always, we thank you for your guys' support. We are right on the verge of 200, a milestone for us for subscribers. So if you have not yet subscribed, please hit that button. We had more and more this last week, and we're right on the edge. So please hit that subscribe button. We appreciate your comments. We're getting more and more. This week, we again broke. Each week, we're breaking records. We had more and more views on our shorts and different things, and so we just appreciate all the love, and even people that disagree. We appreciate that as well. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, I'd appreciate it. And I'm again joined alongside Trent, and behind the scenes, we got Andrew, and he's joining us as well. And we've got, right now, I want to start talking about the NFL. And in the NFL, a few things. There's been some winners this last week and some losers. A few winners. I just want to go over.
I think that's how it works, though, Randy. I think someone has to win.
That's true. That's true. There are teams that win, but I want to talk about individuals that had those moments.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So individually, winners this week, Henry was insane. He was great. Derrick Henry was awesome. You also have Lamar Jackson had a really good game. So you had two people from that team. Josh Allen balled out. Saquon Barkley is the classiest guy. We'll get into him a little bit later. He had a great game. Jaden Daniels, what a rookie. I mean, that guy is balled out and done some great things. Losers, I would say this week, Herbert laid another egg. And so did Love in crunch time playoffs, and they haven't produced yet. And they're, I think, right at the bottom of that second tier. 7 interceptions between the two of them. Baker played well and had a good overall percentage. He threw under 200 yards. I don't know if that was part of the strategy, but that fumble at that end of the game killed them.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I don't think that was necessarily Baker's fault. It was a timing situation. But what were your thoughts of overall the week, and what stood out to you in week 1?
Yeah, I think talking about Justin Herbert, he's got a little bit of the Trevor Lawrence factor right now for me, where he's got all of the intangibles.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem like in crunch time, big games, he's putting it together.
No.
And it's frustrating to watch because you're looking at this guy, you're like, okay, he's supposed to be this guy.
Yep.
And he's just not in crunch time.
No.
I don't know what the Chargers are going to do there. Obviously, I don't think they're going to leave Justin Herbert's side anytime soon.
No.
I'm sure they'll stick by him, and hopefully he gets it figured out. I know Jim Harbaugh is a little bit of a quarterback whisperer, so I'm sure if anyone can figure it out, it's him.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's a difficult situation there because he's supposed to be the franchise quarterback and leading his team to victory.
Yeah.
But the stat column in the playoffs is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. And that was a very winnable game.
Absolutely. We picked them to win. I was surprised, but man, 4 INTs.
Very winnable. Oof. Texans, CJ Stroud, still something's not quite right there.
No.
He's just not popping off on the tape like he was last year.
No.
I will say that they have become a better overall team. That defense is carrying them immensely.
You can tell their coach has his imprint on it.
And when the running game's going for them, they seem to be okay.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to be missing a Stephon Diggs and a Tank Dell as much.
Yeah.
But when that running game's not going, it just seems like there's no explosions there on offense. So that's difficult.
Haven't seen a breakout game from him either. And then Love struggled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's talk about the Steelers. I don't know what they're going to do there.
Ooh.
The Russell Wilson thing is frustrating. This is the hard thing is we talked about this, and, it just seems like they just keep on putting together these seasons where they make it to the playoffs, but no further than that.
No.
And it's not even that they're competing in the playoffs. They're making it to the playoffs and then not even competing.
They're stuck in mediocrity.
Yeah, which is a terrible place to be.
It is. You're stuck, and we're going to be talking about them in just a second. I want to go deeper into them, in particular. But it's hard. It's hard to when you're a fan and you're always hopeful, and you make the playoffs that many times, and then you fall short.
Yes, absolutely.
It's rough. You got T.J. Watts has to be just going crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I mean, 300 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Those guys are dominant.
That is insane.
You know, we'll see how they do against the Bills. The Bills definitely have a much better defense they're going to be going up against. That's going to be a game for the ages.
Oh,
man, that's going to be an awesome game.
That right there, those could be your two best teams. I'm not saying they are, but in the whole league, that could be a great Super Bowl. There's probably 4 teams, and I would say those are 2 of them, and they're meeting way too early.
Yeah. Well, this is like your 2 MVP frontrunners are going to be going head-to-head in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they're 2 frontrunners who quite literally have to put their team on their back in many different ways to win football games.
Yeah.
So this is huge. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be very interesting.
I'm looking forward to our picks at the end.
Yeah.
Because this will be in Buffalo.
Yep.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. What'd you think about the Eagles?
You know, I really wanted to say that I'm super enthused.
Yeah.
This is the thing, is our defense looks solid, right? 10 points. I'll take that any day of the week. Listen, if you can hold a team to 10 points, you should be winning football games.
A playoff team.
Yeah. If you can hold a playoff team to 10 points, especially a Packers team who led the league in explosive plays this year.
Yeah.
Right? I feel bad in the fact that the Packers, they lost 3 of their starting wide receivers in one game. Sorry, two in one game and 1 before the game.
Yep.
That's difficult. Hard to win football games without your starting wide receivers in the game. Josh Jacobs, that guy, we talked about it on the podcast last week. He heats up at the end of the year, every single year. He was heated up. He was running like a madman, and he had some awesome plays. You know, the Packers defense did an amazing job holding Philadelphia to a lot of field goals.
Yeah.
4 field goals to win the game. That's a huge deal, you know. So not only did we only scored once, I think it's once in 4 field goals. Let's see here. 19. No, that's off. Anyways.
Yeah.
We'll figure out the math later. Sorry. Maybe it's 3 field goals and 2 scores. But that Packers defense, they did a good job. They tried really hard. I mean, there was a lot of times they made a huge effort. Saquon goes down. It could have been another 7 points on the board.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that. Crazy if you think about it. But you know, that's just who he is, and you can't hate him for it. I will say once again, we get talking about quarterbacks again. Jordan Love. I mean, he's just not moving the needle for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what they got to do there. This is the thing, though. It's like he's not just playing for the Packers. He's not just playing for any other, coordinator. He's playing for Matt LaFleur, who's a great offensive mind.
Yeah, he's a wizard.
Amazing offensive mind.
Yeah.
And it just seems like he gets in these big games. Jordan Love does, and it's just like there's no major needle move. Now, some people are gonna get put on this show and they're gonna say, "Well, I didn't see Jalen Hurts do the same thing either." I think for a little bit, the guy didn't play for almost a month, probably shaking a little rust off. Also, I don't know that their game plan necessarily called for it. Dan Orlowski, who is an ex-quarterback, you could talk about his record in the NFL. It's not great, so maybe not the greatest advice.
Played the position at a pro level, though.
Yep, absolutely. He actually broke down the film, and he actually said with the way it looks out, there was not a lot of people open, and I don't think the game plan really called for Jalen.
I don't either. I think it was smart not to play him because he's just coming off a concussion.
Yeah.
He's going to be rusty. Get him back in the game and run the ball.
Yep.
This was not a hard opponent.
Yep.
The Packers were coming in with some injuries. Love is young. I don't know why it is, but the media takes a player, and if they look the part, they elevate them before they're ready to be elevated. And that happened to, obviously, the Prince, as we're talking about.
Yep,
the number one pick, and then you have the same thing with Herbert, and the same thing with Love. Love came out.
They'll do it to Arch Manning.
It's just a couple years.
Yep, they'll do it to Arch Manning, and it's going to hurt him.
Yeah, Caleb Williams.
Yep.
Let the people play a game before they're put up on a mountain so high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's crazy. And then the people that are actually producing, let them be above them. And I don't know. I think it would actually help them if they were graded fair after they've played, and then let them have their ebbs and flows. Love is still young.
Yeah.
He's only been playing for a couple years now.
Yeah.
But
they're kids, man. I mean, they're kids.
Yep.
I remember how stupid I was at 21 years old, and some of these guys are still 21, 22 years old.
Yeah, he's got a rifle. He's got of an arm. He's got a long ways to go in his career. So we'll see where he's at. Henry is just a maniac. But I do want to highlight on something we talked about. Saquon Barkley. I am so impressed by Saquon Barkley. I have now seen him on the sidelines when he could have had his personal record be unselfish and say, let other people, eat or whatever. Yeah. Then I seen him, with a decision to not go for a 40-year record, which I wouldn't have done, which is insane. Then they're up 12 and he has a breakaway touchdown with a couple minutes to go. And it's another 60 yards. He's going to be close to 200 yards rushing in a game, another touchdown, and he just falls down early. The guy is about winning and about class, and I am stoked. That is a person that I want to root for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is so rare to find.
It is. And the thing is he probably would have been right at 200 if he runs it in the first.
It's close. Yeah. And
only 8 running backs have rushed for over 200 yards in the playoff game.
Wow.
And he could have been right there.
And he had it. I mean, it wasn't like if you maybe a few more plays. He has a breakaway.
Yeah.
And he just drops with 60 yards left to go. And for what? That would have put him up 19 with 2 minutes to go. If you lose that game at that point,
yeah.
That anyway,
You're really trying.
You're really trying. But hats off to him, because he does not care about anything but the team and winning.
Yeah, the press conference right after, they're like, so you just don't even care about any stats anymore, huh?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I just care about wins, man.
He just wants the jewelry. Yeah. So good for him.
Yeah. What was really exciting to see though is you could tell when he's on the sidelines after he runs and he kneels down, and he goes to the sidelines and all the people are giving him a bunch of, bull for not running in for a touchdown, and you could just tell how excited he is because the guy's never won a playoff game before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
And he's just
that's all he cares about. I think he's the classiest guy. I mean, I just really respect a person that can put their ego aside. When you're at that level and you have that much talent and you can put your ego aside, it's hard not to root for that.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's genuine.
Yep.
Because I'm going to tell you, I like to think, I would want to try to be classy, but I'm still running.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped running yet. I mean, I'd have ran in the tunnel. Anyway, I just really respect that. So good on him. One thing I wanted to talk about, we'll go into Pittsburgh for a second. I just want to think about something for a second.
Okay.
So McCarthy, they fire him in Dallas, and I understand that. I think it can be justified.
They didn't fire him, Randy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did not come to terms.
On an extension.
On an extension.
Or a new contract.
Yeah, it's a nice way to say you're fired.
And what it sounds like, from what I'm understanding, it wasn't even about the money. It was how many years McCarthy wanted.
I don't understand what McCarthy was thinking.
I don't know.
I mean, because I think he might have wanted out.
I mean, yeah, he probably was trying to get a good enough deal to get them to turn it down.
But here you've got McCarthy, who gets let go, and he's 45-35. Made the playoffs 3 years in a row for the Dallas until this year.
Yep.
They don't make it, and then you flip over to Tomlin, and I like Tomlin. I think I really have always really liked him. But I gotta ask, what has he done to deserve to be coaching for this long? They have had. The last 6 times they've made the playoffs, they've lost all 6 games. They're going nowhere every time. In those 6 games, they have been outscored. I just saw this. Stephen A. Smith was saying this. 73 points they have lost in the first quarter in that game. When you start your playoff game off and you're getting trounced early, that's when the coaches are predetermining plays, both offensively and defensively. So it's strategic. He fails every time, and he gets to keep his job. And you've got McCarthy, who is moving on here. I want to ask, why is Tomlin continuing to get chances? And if you were a team, do you want somebody that's going to be 500 or a game above 500 pretty much every year? Or do you want to roll the dice, try to get somewhere that's going to get you either a Super Bowl? I just don't want to live in mediocrity. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this kind of reminds me of my Mike Evans comment, but it's completely different. And I want to preference that.
Okay, yeah.
Like, because what I was saying about Mike Evans is, would you rather have one of the greatest wide receiver talents of all time for 5 years, or someone who is above average wide receiver talents for 10, right? But this is not the same conversation.
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate that. It's a very similar conversation, but it's not the same.
Nope,
because
it's not the
Mike
same.
Evans not in mediocrity.
No, yeah, yeah. For example, you're not talking all-time coaching wins with the most 12-win games, that's made it to the second round. That would be Evans.
Yeah. But this is the issue. At what point do the Steelers say, we don't want to be here anymore and just get rid of him? And is that going to cause an outrage in the team? Is that going to cause an outrage with the fans? I mean, you can't feel good as a fan to say we make it to the playoffs every year, but we never even get close to winning.
No, nobody picked him to win this year. Nobody picked him last year. Nobody picked him the year before. And I know a lot of teams don't, but Pittsburgh has such great history. That is what they're known for. Chuck Noll, way back in the 70s, won 4 Super Bowls. And then all those players, they held on to him too long, and then they dropped off. Chuck Noll then went on the next 12 years and only had like a couple winning two winning seasons. They keep their players. I mean, and their coaches. They just keep them way beyond their prime. I think it would be best personally for Tomlin to get a fresh start. Sometimes having a form of pressure and rejection can help you revamp what you do and improve. Because I think he's a good coach, but he's not a great coach.
Yeah.
And so if I was a Steelers fan, would I always want to be drafting in the middle of the draft? You're going to be the 20th pick in the draft every year.
Yep. You're
not going to win. I mean, I'd rather be bad, great, bad, great. I'd rather do that than this. So I don't know. I see McCarthy moving on, and I don't see a big difference in the last 5 years, at least, than what I've seen with Tomlin.
Yeah. I don't know. This is what's crazy is they're so loyal. I wonder if they could just have a conversation with Mike about stepping down and just being a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just the bond that they have is so close.
Yeah.
That this might be the only time that conversation could actually play out.
Do you think he's too much of a player's coach? You had Antonio Brown that he kind of coddled, the Ben Roethlisberger, they kept him too long. And then now you have Pickens, who's kind of being a diva right now, and he's had some fun little comments.
I love George Pickens.
Did you hear his interview yesterday?
No.
Okay, yeah. Anyway.
I'm sure it was entertaining.
They're basically just asking him if he's happy, with things, and he's like, nope. He's going to tell you what he thinks. The problem is Pickens also, if you watch him, he's a great receiver, but then he stops on routes. If it's not going to him, he doesn't try.
Yeah.
And they get away with it there.
Yep.
And so I think Tomlin's going to have to, figure out that tough love with being a player's coach, but you've got to set some examples. And so
when he was coming out of Georgia, I just remember watching his tape going, that guy's an animal. I think he came out of Georgia the same year as Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. I could be wrong. But I remember watching the tape of all those wide receivers and thinking Pickens is by far the most talented.
Yeah.
Now, he was coming off an injury, I think, that year.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he went later in the draft. But the tape they did have on him, I mean, the guy just was an animal. But you could tell from the start that he had a little bit of an emotional problem.
But he's definitely got the receiver thing going. I mean, they passed the torch there very well between Antonio.
Yeah, but he's not a typical...
He's not Antonio Brown, but
he's not a diva necessarily. He's more of a schoolyard bully.
There's categories.
Yeah, I don't know. He's I don't think the guy would be caught, being emotional about not getting enough catches.
Yeah.
But I think you would catch the guy.
But he doesn't try on routes, and he does. I don't know. You just can't do that in the NFL.
I love one of my favorite things is like the Dallas Cowboys. They like beat him in the final seconds. And this Dallas Cowboys player, I don't even know who it was. He's like a cornerback or a safety. He comes running over to George Pickens to start mouthing in his face. And just like as like a sly move, just kind of grabs his face mask and just throws him to the ground. And he just keeps walking. Doesn't look back. Doesn't look back. Just throws him to the ground and then keeps walking. And I'm like, that's hilarious. I love that.
Well, I want to talk about before we move on. I want to just share. My heart goes out to the people in Southern California. We had the Rams. Congratulations to them for winning and moving on. They had to play their game in Arizona, as the fires have affected so many things, so many people. It is a sad situation. I hope they can get things figured out. I do want everybody to come together. I hope the community can come together through this. There was 24 deaths last I heard, like 40,000 acres, 12,000 structures. J.J. Redick lost his home completely. Steve Kerr lost his childhood home that he grew up in. There's been actors all over. It's just...
Yeah, what's the guy from Top Gun?
I don't know, but Mel Gibson lost his.
Drew, what's he's not Goose, it's a rooster. What's his name? He lost his house.
There's been a lot of Paris Hilton lost.
What? I'll look it up.
Oh, yeah, okay. Paris Hilton.
Hilton?
Yeah, lost her place. I mean, there's just so many people, but I mean, those are wealthy people that can be able to rebuild, but there's a lot of people this is just changing things. And I just hope that it's not about pointing fingers. It's simply about recognizing when there are policies in place that are not helpful, they need to change them. And they just need to be able to do it, because you can't leave this wide open Kinley in the forest in California. They got to clean things up. They do need to do some things. I hope they just come together and do that. But for now, man, I just feel there's so many people. These are the people that lost stuff. There's so many people that went through the fear. Mel Gibson was actually on the Joe Rogan podcast when the fires were going on.
Really?
And his house was burning during it. And he was, wasn't sure, and came out afterwards and found out he lost his home. There's so many people that were uncertain, scared. Anyway, I just hope they get it together, and it's bigger than sports. It's affected sports, which is why I'm bringing it up. But hopefully more lives can be saved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now and in the future.
And our hearts go out to all the people that are out there responding right now, too.
Absolutely. First responders, you are awesome. Now, in the NBA, just to stick to the NBA real quick. Okay. Zion Williamson. Now, we talked about him. I actually started my diet and called it, this is going to be the Zion Williams diet. And I have lost 28 pounds since then. Zion Williams could be one of the best basketball players in the NBA. And he's a phenomenal athlete. And he comes back, gets hurt. He's just the conditioning. He's in better shape now, but he just has not put the commitment in. And here he is. He gets suspended from his team because he can't show up on time. Now, it's not that he was late once. That means this has happened over and over again.
Multiple times.
And you got it. How many players in the NBA have been suspended for being late from a game?
Probably not a lot.
Very rare, right? It doesn't happen. This guy can't stay healthy because he can't keep control consistently of his weight, which is sad.
Yeah.
Which is sad. And then he can't show up on time. Now, he said the right things. I take full responsibility, blah, blah, blah. Change your ways. You are worth, I don't even know what he's worth. 100.
It's a lot of money, I'll tell you that.
I mean, well over $100 million.
Yeah.
And he's just throwing it away. You have so many hardworking people that do things for $40,000 a year, and they get up in the morning when they don't want to, and they're faithful to their families, and they do everything they can. And they got Zion Williams, who frankly, he needs to grow up.
Yeah.
And I hope he does. I like that he says the right things. Now you need to do the right things.
Yeah. What's crazy is he's still only 24 years old.
I know. and he still had a double pump dunk here recently.
Yeah.
He
He scored 22 points against the Dallas Mavericks.
He's a freak talent. Like, please put it together. People would die to have your talent.
Yeah.
Like maximize who you are. Don't minimize who you are.
Yeah.
I want to see you play. I'm not saying it because I don't like him. I want you to succeed. I want you to get control, and I want you to look back and be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
So that being said, in the NBA, the only other thing I am astonished at the Thunder in the West and the Cavs in the East are on historic runs. Their records are insane. They're both on pace to have somewhere between 10 and 12 or 13 losses for the year. Two young teams that look like they're on a path to play each other in June, and I
We'll
hope
see.
it happens. But I mean, they're having killer seasons.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching the NBA, but if you look in the box scores occasionally, you'll be surprised at the record. So
Yeah. That Thunder team
yeah,
is going to be dangerous.
they are going to be. They are dangerous now.
And they're young,
Yep.
which means they're going to play all these games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will help them, and that might be the difference. So
Yeah. The ability to have young players in the NBA with a little bit of playoff experience is awesome
yeah.
because you know that they're going to be healthy when the time comes.
Hey, and Bronny's been back and forth with the Lakers, and he is now up to, I think, 0.4 points per game for the Lakers when he's playing. So
That's pretty good.
he's almost cresting
Listen,
that
if he gets
1 point.
if he gets 1 point a game average, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
It's pretty impressive. So okay, well let's now so the regular season, we were doing our picks. I think before we go to college football, we're going to talk a little bit again about the NFL.
Okay.
We all made our picks. I'm 1 game up. Don't want to. I'm really proud of it because I
just
lost in
wanna
the
say-
regular season.
I just want to say I did once again. I talked you into that Washington pick.
Sometimes I need help.
I
And
do
you-
this every time.
Yes. You almost went with the Rams.
I did.
You were close.
Ah.
So I am 1 game up. Thank you, goalpost. Whoever greased the inside of the goalpost for the Commanders and the ball went in got me a 1 game lead. So I was really stoked about that. But we all got the Rams Vikings game we all lost that game.
Yep.
Both you and Drew both picked Tampa Bay. You guys just didn't see the vision that I had that the ball was going to go in off the goalpost.
I will say, can we just stop for like 5 seconds?
Yeah.
I feel bad for Baker. I just want Baker Mayfield to win.
He looks
Yeah.
so sad during
Listen,
that game.
Listen, I'm sorry. I just can't take it anymore, okay? A football team needs to come together, rally around this quarterback, and win some playoff games. Not this year because the Eagles need to win the Super Bowl this year, but sometime soon.
Here's the thing. I will say this. Baker changed my opinion about him this year. And in that playoff game, he had a moment where even though he didn't throw for a lot, I mean, he threw for like 180 yards or something. I'd like to see him throw more, but I think that was part of the strategy because the Commanders are weak against the run.
Yeah.
So I think that was that. He was 15 for 18, though. Very accurate. But he had an 18-yard run where they're trying to lay the wood on him,
Yeah.
and he didn't go down, and they went down.
Yeah.
And that's a heart play because Baker's not like he's like Herbert size.
Yeah.
And so he just needs a little more support around him.
I've never seen a quarterback that wants it more than that guy.
He does.
He
But you know
wants
what?
it.
This is what I was meaning with Tomlin. He went through adversity. And sometimes if you're a warrior, adversity is your friend. It helps motivate you to go forward.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so you do root for people like that. I'm with you.
Imagine he would have found a way to be on like an offensive-minded team.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep. Well, he does have a decent receiver there.
He does. He's half good.
Yeah, Evans
He's not
is
half
pretty
bad.
good. And we all picked the Ravens. Well, that game we all got right.
Yep.
We all got the Bills game right.
Easy money.
We all got the Eagles game right.
Cash that one at the bank.
Yep, and we all lost the Chargers game.
Yeah, what the heck?
But none of us predicted 4 INTs.
Yeah, you don't see that one coming.
So here we got.
Especially on a run-first football team.
You got to throw it enough to get 4 interceptions.
You know it's hard to throw 4 interceptions when you are a run-first football team.
I always say this. Now, why is it an incompletion if you actually throw a completion to the wrong team? That should count as a completion. That's 4 more completions. That is not an incompletion. He caught it. It's the wrong team.
That's
Okay.
fair. I'll give you that.
All right. So next week's game, the Lions Commanders.
Okay.
Woo.
This is a hard one.
How do we do this? Because I was behind, I was making you pick there for a while first every time. We don't need to do that anymore now that I'm in the lead. If you want me to go, I will do that. But
it's not that big of a deal.
It's a big deal to me.
I can take this one for it if you want me to. Listen,
yeah,
the Lions win by 1 million.
Okay. All right. I got Lions too. Drew, who do you have winning this game?
Definitely Lions.
Lions. We got 3-0 Lions.
Listen, I will say this.
And Montgomery is going to maybe be back?
I think there's a chance that the Commanders could give him a little run. They could give him a little run. I don't think it's going to last all game, but they could give him a little run.
Yeah.
And my only hope is if the Lions do win, let those Commanders at least beat up on them a little bit. You know? You know?
I understand.
All right.
Yeah, you're not going to be sad if St. Brown just has a little bit of a bruise and a limp.
No. I don't wish injuries upon anybody.
I didn't say that.
But if it were to happen.
I said a bruise. He's just running. He can still run, just it's more of a strut.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all have that. Now we got Eagles versus Rams. I think we're all going to agree. We're going to fly. Eagles fly.
Go Birds.
Yep.
Go
Okay.
Birds.
So
Listen, we already saw this matchup earlier in the year. I think there's, this Rams team, you can count on Matthew Stafford, 1, getting sacked, and 2, most likely not throwing interceptions.
Right.
I just think that we're gonna be able to pull this one out. I don't see any way we're really gonna struggle against this one.
Okay.
I think we're gonna have a really tough matchup after that. Now this isn't a guarantee. Nothing's a guarantee in the NFL. Any team can win on any given Sunday.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be playing in Lincoln Financial. We were able to rest our players in Week 18.
Yep.
This Rams team's been playing for quite a while now with no rest
And needing to win every game.
Yep. So, anyways, I think this should be a good matchup for the Eagles. Should be able to take this one home.
Okay, I'm going to skip the next game on our list, and I'm going to go to that last. But Texans and Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs.
Chiefs for me, too. And, Drew, who did you have? You said Eagles as well?
Yes.
Okay, so who do you have? Texans versus Chiefs?
Chiefs.
So we're all on the same page. Now it is the game of the week. And do you want me to go first?
Yeah, this one's super easy for me. I'm going to take...
Okay, Bills versus Ravens.
Oh, please
and
say
this
it.
is in Buffalo.
Please say it.
Josh Allen has been absolutely a terror and insane. However, I am absolutely going with the Ravens. I'm going with the road team.
Oh, no, Randy.
You've got Henry, you've got Jackson, and you've got Andrews, and you've got Likely, and I don't know where Zay Flowers. I want to know what's the deal with Zay Flowers.
He's out.
Is he out?
I'm pretty sure. He had season-ending surgery.
No, I need a healing right now.
Zay Flowers.
Because that's a big loss for them.
Injury status.
Even if he is out, I still barely think the Ravens can win this game. I know Tucker struggled a little bit. It could come down to a kick, and I'm going to still believe that his clutch performance will hold through. So I personally am going with the Ravens in this game, and I've got Mike behind the scenes telling me that he disagrees. He's going Josh Allen all the way. That's okay. I get it. He's been impressive. Drew, who would you pick in this game?
This is the hardest game of the week for me to pick.
Play it. Yep. Game of the week.
I've been thinking about this game a lot the last couple of days.
Yes.
So here, okay, skipping ahead for a second. Here's something I could see happening based on who wins this game.
Mm-hmm.
What I could see is I could see the Ravens losing to the Chiefs in the next game if the Ravens win this game.
Okay.
Because a lot of it is fear-based. When you feel like we lost to them last year, we lost to them first game of the season, that can mess with your psyche.
Oh, it's a head game for sure.
For sure. And the Bills are the only team who legitimately beat the Chiefs. I mean, the Broncos, we can debate whether or not that was thrown, but
You think Buffalo has a better chance
Agreed.
against the
but
Chiefs?
Bills might feel like we're the only ones who could beat them.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't necessarily affect this game,
Yes.
but knowing that in my head, it kind of makes me lean towards the Bills.
Bills. Okay.
So I'm going to go with Bills, but I could see this
Okay.
going either way,
It's
and
in-
I kind of want the Ravens to win just because it's my uncle's team, and
Yeah.
I kind of want to support him.
Buffalo
yeah.
could easily win this. It's at home,
This
and
could go
Josh
either
Allen's
way.
playing the best I've ever seen, and he's had some really good years. He's insane.
I would not be surprised if this
I'm
game
just
went either way.
I'm rooting for a rematch and
Yeah,
a
I'd love
revenge
that.
game.
Me
but
too.
we'll see. What do you
Hey,
have,
maybe
Trent?
we got birds and birds.
What do you have?
Here's the deal, Randy.
Yeah. Are you going Superman?
Listen, this is easy, okay?
Easy.
I've
Wow.
done math since I was a kid, okay? Algebra, okay, calculus. I know it all. Okay.
Pre-algebra.
Pre-algebra. All right. I know what a triangle is. 30, 60, 90.
Nice.
Okay. I know
Okay.
what it's all about. Okay. 45, 45, 90. I get it, Michael. Come on,
Yeah.
man. I know how triangles work, okay? Here's the deal. What the people really want to see, okay? What the people really want to see is a Buffalo Bills Detroit Lions Super Bowl, or they want to see a Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl
Yes.
rematch, okay? No one wants to see a Baltimore Ravens versus
Yes.
Detroit Super Bowl. No one wants to see a
Gross.
Baltimore Ravens versus Eagles Super Bowl. And what the people want is what the NFL is going to give, okay? And that tells me
the Chiefs are going to win
the
everything.
Bills have to at least win one more game
Oh,
for us to
okay.
get this opportunity, okay?
Okay.
And I'm just going to tell you, Randy,
I'm wrong.
there's one man who wakes up every single morning. He unzips his zipper.
That's
He takes a little leak, okay?
Where's this going?
Let me finish, okay? He unzips his zipper, he takes a leak, and guess what? Every morning he wakes up, he pisses excellence, okay? And his name is Josh Allen, okay? And he's going to walk on that field,
Yes.
and there is no such thing as second place. There is no such thing as third, because if you ain't first, you're last. And Josh Allen's going to go out there, he's going to take that team, he's going to, and he's going to carry them to that AFC Championship game,
Good.
where he's going to go out there and he's going to make sure Patrick Mahomes earns his way back to the Super Bowl.
All
Okay?
right, you got me convinced I'm going Buffalo. No, I'm just joking.
So I want.
I could easily see him having 3 touchdowns, a
Yeah.
rushing touchdown.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys, what do you think would be the most interesting Super Bowl? Because you just named 2 potential options.
That's the
But
only
then
options.
What do you personally want to happen?
Well, I want to see the Eagles go back to the Super Bowl and beat the Chiefs.
I understand.
Listen.
I've been there. I had that desire, and we were ahead in the overtime, and then
Yeah.
see
that's
I
the
hope you
thing.
have that. I could live vicariously through you guys if
If-
that
That
if-
happens
feels
for you.
so good.
I want the opportunity to do that, but to then lose again would be the most crushing loss of all time.
Yeah,
It was.
it
was
is
terrible. I remember.
It is hard. I would like so I would be totally happy with the Bills going. I think Josh Allen has been insane, but you're also forgetting. And I want you to remember, Lamar Jackson. He pees purple, and I'll tell you, it's purple gold, baby, because they're as you're using the example, peeing excellence. So they are impressive, and Henry, nobody can stop Henry. So
Except for Cooper DeJean.
and so, well, we're talking AFC right now. So I think it would be really cool to see from the revenge factor. I want to see people stop talking crap about Lamar Jackson can't win big
Yes.
games. I want to see him win, and I want to see him get to the Super Bowl and hopefully beat the Texans, because I'd like the Chiefs to fold earlier, but that won't happen.
I really wouldn't be mad if the Ravens win. I think Lamar's a genuinely good
It's going to
dude.
be birds versus birds.
Yeah.
Then you can say go
That'd be
birds.
cool.
And it goes
Yeah, I think that is a great, you know.
I like that.
Yep. And
Yeah.
look, and they're 2 hours? They're 2 hours away from each other.
That's true.
I mean, that would be a nice East Coast battle.
Where's the Super Bowl located at this year?
I'm sure. I don't know.
New Orleans.
Is it?
New Orleans.
Okay. So
Yeah, that's why
anyway,
there's the whole Lil Wayne
we will
thing.
see.
Oh, that's
So
right.
so we got one. You guys could gain, and we could be tight again, or I could be taking the lead for good. So
That's
Um,
not gonna happen.
we'll go.
I gotta also ask this: if it was Bills Lions,
Yeah.
who would you want to win in that game?
Lions.
Yeah, I would say
'Cause it's
Lions
both-
too. I'm going to
It's
tell you why.
It's new.
I
both of them.
there's part of me that Dan Campbell is very endearing to me. Okay, seeing Amon St. Brown's story and upbringing and his relationship with his dad and stuff was inspiring. There's just some storylines that I think are really cool with the Lions, and their franchise just hasn't had something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that would be really cool.
This
now
is
the
the
Bills
thing.
haven't either. They'd have 4 years in a row they made the Super Bowl and lost every year. That would be brutal. But
Yeah, but this is the thing, okay? As much as I love to see Josh Allen win, and I hope one day Josh Allen does win a Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong. I think he deserves to one day win a Super Bowl, okay? But Jared Goff.
yeah,
I'm not a huge Jared Goff fan,
Mm.
but I can root for a story where a quarterback takes his team to the Super Bowl, and then they just throw him away like dirt.
yeah, and he could win with another.
and he
with
revives his career.
that is a cool story.
in a city where Super Bowls are never won.
No, playoff games are never won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty epic story.
That would be. I agree with you. And I would put, there is a group, we'll do this in the future here, but I think there is a tier of about 10 quarterbacks, maybe 7 or 8 quarterbacks that people could argue are here.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm looking at that tier right now, and I'm saying at the bottom of that is Love and then Herbert. And at the top of that, I would say of that tier, I think Goff is, towards the top because he's done enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's won a Super Bowl. He's on the verge of a possibility of another Super Bowl. If not, great
He didn't
season.
win a Super Bowl.
Huh?
He didn't win a Super Bowl.
I'm just saying he's on the verge of,
Oh, gotcha.
potentially.
He's played in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, I mean,
Justin
and-
Herbert never played in a Super Bowl.
right. Nope. Anyway, so he made it there. I think they didn't do very well in the Super Bowl when he was there. I think they,
No.
yeah, but he's struggled. But the Rams just got rid of him.
Oh, no, they didn't just get rid of him.
They traded him.
No. They threw him into a trade for fun.
I know.
The Lions didn't even really want him.
And everybody thought, what were the Lions doing?
The Rams literally mentioned, hey, do you want us to throw Jared Goff in this trade?
Yeah.
And the Lions were like, yeah, sure.
And because of that, they will be executed this week.
All right, let's move on now to college football. Again, we made some picks. I don't want to say anything, but I am up in that.
goodness.
I did win that, so I'm having a good week.
Oh,
I mean, you know what? All I needed my team to do was to not make the playoffs, and all of a sudden I could have a clear head with my thinking. But Notre Dame, Mitch Jeter, 41-yard, winning field goal. That helps them beat Penn State. I think we all had Ohio State winning. That was a cool moment for their kicker. I thought it's cool to see. I felt really, really bad. Penn State, when they threw the interception right at the end of the game, that was tough. I hate seeing that. But they both balled out and played really well, and it was a good game. So we've got Ohio State versus Notre Dame. I am very sure I know where everybody's going to be picking on this.
I don't know that you do.
Well, I hope, but I don't think you will.
Take your pick, Randy. Take
Okay,
your pick.
well, I'm taking Ohio State in this game. So
What about you, Drew?
look at him smiling. He's going for it here. All right,
Well, I haven't
We
been
got a
paying attention
gambler.
that much, so I'm going Notre Dame.
Notre Dame to catch up. Is that what this is?
I'm just going for it.
They have the best tight end in college football. So,
I
we'll
just
see.
think their name
You're
is
gonna
cooler,
hear-
and I'm gonna go with that.
You're going to hear him just going,
Rudy, man. It would be an
And
amazing
out of
story.
nowhere, this little 5'6" guy comes running out of the locker room, and everyone just goes, "Whoa!" And Ohio State's just taken back, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Do I just go Notre Dame just to give myself a chance?
I think you can do whatever you want to do.
All right, I'm going
Notre Dame. We got 2 Notre Dames, and we got Ohio State. Congratulations. I want to just wish you, whoever's going to win, congratulations just to be in the championship game. So both teams, really cool. But
No one thought Notre Dame was going to be there, so good for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good
Hey,
on them.
Can we actually, we didn't talk about this.
Okay.
Or even think about talking about this. Can we
Yep.
talk about college men's basketball?
Okay, go ahead.
The Tennessee Bulls
You're
are insane. I think they're still undefeated. Hold up. Let me look.
Tennessee.
College men's
You have-
basketball rankings.
I call it.
Oh, my bad. They lost one game.
Yeah.
My apologies.
So college basketball is an interesting sport. It is. So you got the NBA that nobody watches. College basketball is probably the most bipolar watched event of all the sports because nobody watches. Very few people watch college basketball. I mean, there are the fans, and that's awesome that there are fans, especially you watch your local school. But the attendance goes up massively. It's got to be way more than any other sport when you get to the Final Four. It's just the percentage is insane. Everybody does
those
it.
last couple games is what pays for the whole season.
It's such a wonderful thing.
I'm so confused who we lost to. I don't see who we lost to.
The Final Four is awesome in basketball. Everybody does it. My wife did not know one player on one team, and she won our bracket in the Final Four. It was her versus me in the championship game, and she beat me, and she'll never let me hear the end of it. So I still owe her, by the way. She won, so we're supposed to let her pick.
Never mind. We lost to Florida.
Yeah.
Nah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
Listen, there's some. They've been balling out.
Good
Alabama,
job, Tennessee.
Alabama's playing good. Auburn's 15-1. Iowa State's 14-1. Duke's 14-2. Surprise, surprise. Florida's 15-1.
Wait. Duke's going to lose in the second round again. Go ahead. I got
too early prediction.
Yeah.
Marquette's 14-2. Kentucky's 13-3. And Kansas is 12-3. And Houston, rounding out the top 10, is 12-3.
12-3.
Oregon's actually not too bad, 15-2. They had some weaker opponents. Gonzaga's in there as usual. Yeah. This should be a good college basketball year.
Yep. We need to start following up more and maybe seeing who the future of the NBA is. Hopefully they get players that'll come into the NBA that will have that desire, that dog in them, that will want to play more than 55, 60 games a year and change the league.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, that's this week. We got next week coming up. We got more NFL actions. Again, if you like what you see, please, if you have not hit that subscribe button, we are so close to 200. That has been a goal for us for a while, and we are right on the verge. And thank you guys for all your support. And also, please make those comments. We laugh at some of those comments. We love them all.
I enjoy a good comment.
Anyway, we'll see you. Have a good week.